Hi, this is Miles Sanity 602 reporting to you at the Nightmare Central with day number 26 of my fourth annual 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews. And for day number 26, we're going to be discussing Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, which is a 2006 R-rated 92-minute comedy horror thriller from Scott Glosserman. Um, anyways, anyways, Behind the Mask was it's basically a film where it does it does the self-referential meta humor, the self-referential meta humor that Scream did, attempted to do, but executed poorly. To a better effect, I think that Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, um, does a way better job than that movie. Um, this movie and Cabin in the Woods make a mighty fine pairing. Make a mighty fine pairing because they are terrific. I believe terrific variations of the meta jabbing jabbing at the horror genre while being somewhat loving and respectful to it. I'm sorry to sound like Uwe Ball by saying this, but I really don't care for the Scream movies, mainly because I just think and feel that those Scream movies, are snooty, so snooty, and so up their ass with their meta humor, and they go like scoff. Oh, those horror movies. Oh, those horror movies. Aren't they for children? Aren't they for children? And they are just basically they're the horror equivalent of a cinematic fuck you to the horror genre. I basically think they are insulting, trashy films. Well, they're not trashy films. They have a class value. They're classy. So that helps makes them not trashy, but they are just so fuck you to the horror genre. And I think films that came after it. I think films that came before it, like Sleepaway Camp 2, Friday 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, did the meta humor better, and I think that the meta humor of films that came after it, and Behind the Mask and Cabin in the Woods, did it better than Scream. And I think that the films that were inspired by Scream are a lot better than Scream itself. So Scream doesn't really have much to go for it. Anyways, we get to Behind the Mask, which the film is basically about this girl who um is about this girl who's just documenting this guy who is just about to do his annual like killing spree. He basically puts what these horror icons like the girl went on, and I love what they did with the earlier portion of the film. She says, "Here's the campground where Jason Voorhees was, and then there's the Fred Krueger house, and there's Kane Hodder actually there, and then there's the Myers house." And there's plenty of neat background gags in this film. neat background gags. Like you saw a Rabbit in the Red Lounge thing in the background of one scene. And basically what she does is basically give this guy, um, Leslie Vernon just basically documents him and basically takes the stereotypical horror setup and makes it into a very nice analysis throughout this interview of Leslie Vernon. And one thing I appreciate about Leslie Vernon as a character, is that he doesn't directly he isn't a direct similarities, but he's basically a conglomeration of like they said before, Fred, Jay, and Mike. With Fred, Jay, and Mike, he has the background. He has a background of Jason Voorhees. He has Jason Voorhees' background, and when he's talking and when he's interacting, he has the charisma, the fun, energetic charisma of Freddy Krueger, and when he kills people, when he gets into his mask, it's very Michael Myers like. I like that they, basically blended up like the three different styles of those horror icons into one. So, anyways, we basically see this interviewee, with interviewer, and one thing that kind of doesn't make logical sense in this film to me, and they basically self-corrected it later on, but I really don't see how this fucking thing went down. I don't really see how in the hell, this girl and her crew, is gonna get an interview with this fucking killer, and just go be hunk ho about it till the end. I really don't fucking get it. I really don't. And all of a sudden they have this moral change, in it. I'm like, she's so calm here and there, but I'm like, what, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? Did they think that this was a joke? Do you think Leslie Vernon is joking? Or whatever? Do you think he's joking? I don't really. That really just bothers me a bit about this film. It's how in the hell are this interview crew is um, be able to, first things first, sell this. It's probably gonna be a crime scene, and it's gonna probably be used for investigative crime scene evidence. There's gonna be mainly used for an investigatory tool, and I don't get how any moral or sane person would be so gung ho about this interview. It really just doesn't make any look of sense to me. But anyways, I have to overlook that. So anyways, she interviews him. Leslie Vernon, played by, I forgot the actor's name, Nathan Basil. I think Nathan Basil does a really likable job in this film. I think that when he's talking, when he's energetic, and when he's talking, I think that he has terrific dialogue. I like his presence as an actor as this role. And basically we have him setting up this trap for what we are led to believe is the final girl of this film, what we are supposed to believe is the final girl of this film. And he does this little sliding the door trick, and after he does the sliding of the door trick, we get to see him do his thing. And after we get to see him do this thing, we get into this little thing here. We get to see this little thing here where he's talking to his friend, also a killer, who talks about how he's sick about these people exploiting exploiting what they're doing, and I like that. You also see the Lamont configuration sitting in their from Hellraiser sitting on their table in that one scene. I think that's pretty fucking nice. Um, one thing you could just tell by the dialogue of this film, you could tell that the creators of this film have a great deal of love and passion and respect. You could definitely tell that the people behind this film are huge horror buffs, and you could definitely tell, like with the Raven Red, the Lamont configuration. There's also another thing I noticed, an Elm Street reference. There's these girls, you know, doing their jump rope thing, which is from an Elm Street. And they got Fred Krueger himself, Robert Englund in this film. Robert Englund, who's basically playing a Dr. Sam Loomis character in this film, I really like all this stuff. All the stuff so far. Um, then the film goes on. And we get to the por we get to the portions where he starts to do his thing that he was talking about, the big bloodbath massacre scene. And that's where I feel like the film kind of, I obviously that's the main purpose of this film. That's what we're supposed to build up to. But I really think that portion of the film was kind of, something about it just doesn't really work to me, because I think that the actors there didn't really. I think that they didn't really deliver. I think that they did some horrendous job. Like the teenage characters, like the girl we supposed to think is the final girl. Once she gets killed, once she's, sees them interrupting her sex session to warn her about the massacre that's and I really don't think that none of these actors are very good actors. Besides the crew, I think the crew members, the people of the crew, and Nathan Basil, all those people do a really good job. Robert Englund, but pretty much the people who are the kill count teenage characters in this film are all horrendous characters. Like you get these two stoner characters, and boy oh boy, they are horrendous actors. They basically, the two stoner characters do the most generic and quite unrealistic being stoned acting I've ever seen. Like, oh, they go and say, oh, I'm gonna pay attention to my moon, and with Leslie Vernon, I really, there's some logical things that I don't really get behind. Like the chubby guy, part of the crew, is running to distract Leslie Vernon, and I'm like, motherfucker, you seriously, I understand, the dude, I'm kind of out of shape. I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of out of shape. But even being out of shape, would realize that me being a really obese person would be saying, well, that's kind of stupid for me to just run away from the killer like that, And I really think that that was some dumb bullshit there. Some dumb bullshit there. Um, some dumb bullshit there. Um, so once the kids get killed off, Robert England gets knocked out by accident, and basically Leslie just really he could have killed the guy. He could have killed the guy because what he did was just knock that guy out. And I'm like, okay, you could have done that better. You could have just killed him or whatever, but no, I guess that's part of his plan to live. And to let him live, and then basically we get the final thing where Leslie is captured. After he's captured, she burns down the barn, like ripped off two elements of the end of Halloween Resurrection there, burning down a shed or a barn, and then the end credit sequence with the morgue. So they ripped off a lot of things in this film, but whatever. Um, I love this movie. I love this movie. I think that this film is good for the most part. There's a few things that just bother me about it, and I believe that the execution of the third act of the film could have been done immensely better. But I could tell that there's a lot of this was made by horror movie fans, for people who love the genre and respect the genre. And I just like that. I like that they gave a proper homage to classic horror icons. Got Robert England involved, and I like Leslie Vernon as a character. It pisses me off. It pisses me off that I like the first Hatchet. I think the first Hatchet is a good movie. I think the first Hatchet is a very good movie. Don't get me wrong, but I believe that Hatchet should have just been left alone as one movie. Should have been left alone as one movie, not been spawned off into a trilogy. And I think the Hatchet sequels have their fun moments, but I think that they should have just left it at one, because I would have preferred to see sequels to Behind the Mask, because Leslie Vernon is a more interesting character, and plus there's 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 more shit that you could do with this universe to expand upon it. I like I would have adored to see Leslie Vernon return and make like a trilogy or even a series out of the Leslie Vernon films. I think it would have been cool to here we got Leslie Vernon doing his antics with somehow setting up for a sequel. Like he gets a more reliable crew to discuss making a sequel. I would have enjoyed that. I would have enjoyed that very much. But anyways, I think Behind the Mask. When I was younger, like I think I saw this when I was like 11 or 12. 11 or 12. I really loved it. My love for it has dwindled a little bit. I still love it, but it went down a little bit. It doesn't have the same replay value as the kid, as it did when I was a kid. But Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon is a very good movie. I think it's very entertaining. I think that it has a lot more substance and meat to chew on than the Scream movies. I think that overall, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon is a very admirable entry into the slasher subgenre of horror films. I think that it does a really good job. Anyways, now let's talk about the Blu-ray release. Blu-ray release. So there you go. Got the front, which I understand that this is probably the it's just a cheap DVD cover that they use, but it's suitable. There's a spine, there's the back, and then you open up and you have the disc. If you're a fan of Leslie, if you're a fan of, I think Behind the Mask of Leslie Vernon will be greatly disappointed with this release because it just has the film. It doesn't even allow you to have the courtesy of a pop-up menu that most Blu-rays have. I think that if you're a fan of this movie, you're not going to be very happy with this Blu-ray release, but in a sense you will. In a sense you will, because this Blu-ray set me back $5, and that's fine. That's fine. I have this movie in my collection. And I think it's well worth the $5 that I shelled out for it. I shelled out for it, but I think that would make terrific Essential Halloween view, and I think that's a really good movie. Um, yeah, I love this. I love it. Yeah, it would make a great double bill with Cabin in the Woods. Anyways, we are on day number 26 of our fourth annual 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews. And this has been day number 26. So I shall be back in a little less than 24 hours with day number 27. And that means that we have about five more reviews to go. Five more reviews to go until we're officially done with this season, whatever you refer to it as. 31 days. Anyways, I would appreciate it if you would give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, I shall be back in a little less than 24 hours with day number 27. And yeah, peace.